Hey y'all, we're back day 3, the final day of the Urban World Film Festival. We're going to be seeing the cast of Queen Sugar and Thurgood Marshall, so stay tuned. The advice I would give to upcoming directing and filmmakers is this. You have to have a passion about what you are endeavoring to make, what you are thinking about making, and what you jump into making. You have to be willing to be courageous, like Ava DuVernay is. You have to be willing to color outside of the lines, go beyond what they say is doable or what you should be doing or what you ought to be doing, and bring new stories, new visions to the world, to our world.
Speaking of visions, what did you love most about shooting down in New Orleans?
I loved meeting the people, the community, local community in New Orleans. I absolutely enjoyed working with the cast and crew. I was starstruck. First day on the set, I was like, oh, so it was a very joyful experience for me. And hopefully I'll be able to go back at some time. But if not, I know that it's, I'm just enjoying the show and just enjoying being here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hey, how are you? Good. So how is it working on Queen Sugar? How do you like it?
I really like doing it.
Yeah. So on the show, Blue, his favorite doll is Kenya. What's your favorite toy?
My favorite toy is my stuffed animal bunny.
Really? How was Kofi as your dad?
He was super fun to do the role with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Look up here now. Kofi and Mom. Up here, please. Thank you. Yay. Hi, I'm Brittany from Seriously Podcast. We cover web series and Black web series. Do you watch any?
I don't.
No. Okay. And what was your first acting gig, and what have you learned from that?
My first acting gig. What was my first acting gig?
I love Kumar.
It was a commercial.
Really?
I don't remember what I learned from it. It was years ago. But my first, I'll call it Queen Sugar.
Yeah.
What did I learn from Queen Sugar? Again, just how much I had to find myself in the midst of that. Because if I'm out here being Ralph Angel, who am I? You know what I'm saying? And then Ralph Angel's influencing me, so it was just a lot of just internal searching, exploration, but yeah.
And how do you prepare for a Ralph Angel, his role?
I mean, I felt like when I turned 17, 18, when I started losing weight and really coming into or at least starting to discover who I was, those 5 years led up to that point when I started working on Ralph Angel, and now I feel like in 5 years I'm gonna be a whole different person, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
How do you prepare for your role?
I do a lot of reading, a lot of research. Depending on what it is, you have to do the reading and the research, and you have to, dig into it. I learned that from I was doing Django, working with Leonardo DiCaprio. He said he reads his scripts 100 times. I ain't doing all that. I might do 10 or 20 times, but then just enough so I can just get, wrapped up into that world, whatever it is. So we talk about Queen Sugar. I'm down there in New Orleans. I'm not from New Orleans, but I'm from Atlanta, and I live in LA. Been living in LA for 15 years. But just being a part of the culture of New Orleans, just being wrapped up in it, that's another way. You have to be a part of you have to be there with the people.
Right.
So wherever it is, but I just do a lot of research.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes.
Hi, I'm Brittany from Seriously Podcast. We recap Black web series. I just want to know, when creating your work, which identity speaks first, your artistic side or being a person of color?
Oh, being Black first. Yeah. First and foremost on everything that I do. Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary from
Hi,
Seriously
Mary.
Podcast.
Oh, wonderful. Nice
Yeah, we
to meet you.
recap web series.
Oh, very
We
good.
talk to like creators and actors.
Nice.
So we're here with dawn-lyen Gardner, and the first question we want to ask is, what was your first acting job, and what did you learn from that experience?
Oh my gosh, my first acting job. You know, my first acting job was actually when I was 9 years old, believe it or not. Yes. That was a McDonald's commercial.
McDonald's this morning.
A McDonald's commercial. What did I learn from that? I sort of learned how this goes, I guess. You know, it was a very sort of oh, this is fun sort of experience, but it was also like, this is work. This is work, right? It takes a certain amount of stamina and energy to do this all day, and it's sort of surprising how much it takes. And I think too, it set me on the path of really sort of wanting to know why I was doing it. You know, I was a kid actor for a long time, and at a certain point, I just really wanted to have a feeling of purpose in the work. So it's amazing to sort of look back at a McDonald's commercial and, you know, come to now and go, all right, I sort of found it. It's
Yes,
good.
yes. So your character Charlie, absolutely love her. What do you love about playing Charlie?
Oh my God. I love this woman. I do. I think of her in very epic terms. She's sort of like a superhero to me, you know? She's like superhero and kryptonite. She's half and half, really.
Superwoman, yeah.
Yeah, she's a bit of a superwoman. But what I think I love the most about her is her dimension. She is as fragile as she is fierce.
Yeah, you just
really.
never know with her. Yeah.
You never know, and I think that she also embodies what I think a lot of us struggle with as Black women, especially, which is the need to constantly hold everything up in perfection, but underneath just such a deep need for support and self-care, and her, you know, trouble sometimes recognizing that. I love her growth. I love her evolution. I think we're watching her go through something this season that I think we were all like, please, you know, meet yourself all last season, because she was doing a lot of things. But I just love her strength and her resilience and her, you just sort of know she's always going to get it done. And I love that about her.
So before you get on set, like, how do you prepare to play Charlie?
Woo! A lot of yoga. Honestly, like, I have to go to a very calm place to get into her energy. But also a lot of music. I actually really use music. I mean, early, of course, a lot of research. But once I'm on set, it's a lot of music, a lot of centering sort of practices, because she's can be so fierce, so empowered, that it actually takes being sort of still for me to go with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Before you go,
welcome.
can I
Sure.
just give you a pen?
Oh yes, I was just
And-
noticing it.
Could we have a quick drop?
Yes, of course. It's seriously.
Seriously, like web series.
I love
Seriously.
that.
Do you watch any web series?
Do I watch any web series? I should watch more web series. I'm a podcast person. I do podcasts. Like I did. Yeah. Okay. Good. I should. All right, Felicia. Let's make more time to watch more web series. Not lately, but I need to get up on it. Yeah.
It's cool. So you're in this movie, Marshall. What's the experience been like?
Oh, it's incredible. It's an honor to be here. It's again, his message and his fight and what he had to face. You know, like we face criticism and we face, being ostracized and marginalized for speaking out. And people were actually planning on killing him, like actually plotting out his death. And so I think for him to be able to still stand up in the face of that Thurgood Marshall is amazing. So I'm so glad they're telling the story. And Reggie is just telling it in the most amazing way. Chadwick is the perfect Thurgood Marshall. I was on set actually while we were filming, just watching him, and you forget that you're on set, and he's that type of performer. So it's an honor to even just kind of like scratch the surface of something like this. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you so much. Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Seriously Podcast.
Awesome.
Okay, so first question is, what was the biggest challenge about this project?
Well, to do a Black historical drama is still a challenge. It's easier than it was a couple of decades ago, where it was literally impossible. But still finding the money, getting the support. The great thing was we had a fantastic script. We had an amazing cast of actors. At a certain point, when you have that much talent all in one room, it becomes undeniable.
Okay. You've done great films like House Party, Boomerang, For the Culture. Was there a particular event or time that you recognized that filmmaking was not just a hobby, but that'll be part of your life and your living?
Oh, that was always I decided pretty early. Like, I may have been still playing with toys when I made that decision.
Okay, and then lastly, what advice would you give to up-and-coming filmmakers?
Just do it. I mean, you have the power in your hands right there with that phone to make a movie. So you don't have to ask nobody for nothing.
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Yes.
All right, hey, I'm Mark.
I'm Mary.
All right.
From Seriously Podcast. How are you?
Podcast?
Yeah, here, take
I'm
a
good.
pen.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Tell us about your project.
So
Have you really?
I feel like I've seen this before. This is great.
Yeah.
I'm in Marshall, so I'm playing I like don't want to give too much away, but we have some really special Harlem Renaissance characters in there, and I'm playing someone's boyfriend in that world over there. It's going to be a really special project. It's the Thurgood Marshall movie, right? So it's going to be beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay, deviating from Thurgood.
Yep.
Have you been a part of any web series?
Yeah, I've got a couple of web series going on.
Tell us about them.
I got one that you might like called Giving Me Life.
Okay.
Giving Me Life in the Land of the Dead Ass. That's the title.
That's the whole title?
Yeah, that's the title. And it's at the New York Television Festival right now. So that's in right now. I'm in another one called Doomsday, which has got up for consideration for an Emmy, and that's an independent series, and that won at New York Television Festival. So, but check out Giving Me Life in the Land of the Dead Ass. That one's, I think, might be up this sincerely. Seriously.
Like web series?
Oh, seriously. Check that one out. We got the trailer out right now. Doomsday's popping right now. We're in talks for a deal for that too, which will be really fun.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, coming from the web series world, moving into movies, what advice would you have for up-and-coming actors?
Oh, man. See, the thing about web series is, like, you get to take ownership in such a massive way, and then movies, you get the excitement of being part of something, like, bigger than yourself. So with web series, you really are, like, the engine, I feel like. They're much more independent. They're much more, like, collaborative. With these, it's like you come in, you really channel, like, whatever it is for that small moment in the story, and you kind of send it up to, like, the movie gods and hope everything comes out beautifully. And I think it's going to come out beautifully with this one. This had, like, an amazing team working on it and making it happen. But that's the big thing with web series. It's like you are the engine. With movies, it's a bigger team. Everything has to come together as a team.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Seriously, come here. They want us to do things.
Hi, how are you? Hi.
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We're from Seriously Podcast.
Hey.
Hey, can you guys talk about what project you guys are showcasing today?
We're showcasing a movie called Covers, written, produced, and directed by Malcolm Mays along with Tristan Wild, GC, and myself.
Oh, nice. Can you talk about what's it about? What can we expect?
What is it about? It is about finding your purpose, stepping in your truth. And sometimes you don't have enough to do it just with yourself, and it takes a village. And that's what these fine people did to make the movie, and that's what the characters in the movie do for one very, very fortunate young man who was going the wrong way. So that's what Covers is about. And music. And niggerdom. I don't know if you can use that, but niggerdom is definitely it's essential in this.
What was the biggest challenges you guys faced making this?
Your plane ticket? Finances.
No, I think honestly the biggest challenge was everything that we thought was going to be a challenge wound up not being a challenge because everybody worked hard, like did more than they were supposed to. Like, there was nobody who just stuck to one job. Everybody did everything, which made everything go smoother than an independent film is supposed to. So the hardest part, honestly, was getting it to UrbanWorld.
Yeah. Amazing. Congratulations.
It's hard. When you make a $7,500 movie, everybody ends up directing. I can't really take credit for directing because, like, at some point he was like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna do this with the camera because Malcolm can't speak anymore because he's tired." And he would just take over camera, which if you've seen After Hours or any of the work that he's created, he's pretty proficient.
Yeah.
And it's been fun.
Awesome. Really cool. Speaking of After Hours, we are a web series based podcast and we actually love it. I love it. So can't wait to see what's what up. So here's our card and a pin.
Thank you, Queen.
Yeah. But Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Can you guys do a quick drop? Just a quick one.
Seriously podcast.
Seriously podcast. Yeah.
We're gonna do it in unison. Y'all count it out.
Of course, just come in a little.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Seriously podcast. Y'all tight as shit.
Thank you.
Oh, it is recording. Oh my gosh, we just finished
It is
crazy days.
Yes, talk about it. I saw my man Chadwick Boseman.
I saw my man.
I didn't get to talk to him.
We got to interview Ava DuVernay. Black Girl Magic.
The whole cast of Queen Sugar, Sweethearts. Okay.
It was awesome. I had a really. These ladies are amazing. Listen to Seriously podcast. They are so funny. We had so much fun these last 3 days. It was awesome. And check out Renaissance Millennial Media.
Talk about it.
Yes. Oh, Millennial. They are.